Hey there, ghouls, fiends, and horror lovers. Welcome back to Cafe Crashdown, your go-to haunt for all things spooky, strange, and spine-tingling. I'm Kayla, your guide through the eerie corridors of Shudder, and today we are diving into my top 5 picks for March. The air may be warming up, but trust me, the chills aren't going anywhere, especially with this month's lineup. We've got eerie Irish horror, psychological nightmares, and some truly bizarre terror lurking in the shadows. So grab your drink of choice, maybe an Irish coffee for this one, and let's jump into some must-watch horror on Shudder this March. Let's start with a movie that takes psychological horror and dials up the dread to an almost unbearable level. Caveat is the kind of film that seeps under your skin and lingers long after the credits roll. The story follows Isaac, a drifter with memory issues who is offered a strange job, watching over a disturbed young woman in an isolated, decaying house. But the deal comes with a horrifying condition. He must wear a leather harness attached to a chain restricting his movements throughout the house. If that's not unsettling enough, there's a creepy drumming rabbit toy that seems to have a mind of its own. This film is an exercise in pure atmosphere, leaning into a sense of dread that grows thicker with every scene. The dilapidated house, the flickering candlelight, and the strange silences make this feel like a walking nightmare. It's slow, unsettling, and filled with imagery that will haunt your dreams. If you love quiet, cerebral horror with a psychological edge, Caveat is an absolute must-watch. Now, let's lighten things up a bit, but just a little. If you love your horror with a shot of comedy and monster mayhem, Grabbers is the perfect choice. Set on a small Irish island, the film follows a group of villagers who find themselves under attack by blood-sucking, tentacled sea monsters. Yes, that's what I said. These creatures are terrifying, fast, and nearly impossible to kill, except for one major weakness. They can't handle alcohol. That's right. The only way to survive is to get drunk enough to make your blood toxic to the creatures. Grabbers is a blast, okay? It's part monster movie, part survival horror, and part Irish pub comedy. The characters are fun, the creature effects are impressive, and the film strikes a perfect balance between terror and absurdity. Think Tremors meets Shaun of the Dead with a little Irish twist. If you're looking for something entertaining to watch this St. Patrick's Day, this is the pick for you. Now, let's step into something truly dark, unsettling, and deeply emotional. A Dark Song is an occult horror film that's unlike anything else in the genre. The story follows a grieving mother who hires an unconventional occultist to guide her through a grueling, months-long ritual in an isolated house. The goal? To communicate with her deceased son. But this isn't a simple seance. This is an intense, physically and mentally punishing process that pushes both of them to their breaking points. And the further they go, the more barriers between reality and the supernatural begin to crumble. What makes Dark Song so unsettling is its commitment to authenticity. The ritual is inspired by real occult practices, and the film treats its subject matter with an eerie seriousness. There's no cheap jump scares, just an ever-growing sense of dread that keeps tightening around you like a vice. By the time you reach the film's shocking conclusion, you'll be emotionally drained, but in the best possible way. So if you love horror films that feel genuinely dangerous and unpredictable, this one is a must-watch. Alright, horror fans, if you like movies that are bloody, brutal, and completely unhinged, Bloody Axe Wound is about to become your new obsession. This film is a slasher throwback that embraces everything we love about grindhouse horror and 80s video nasties. The setup is classic. Small town urban legend about a brutal mass killer who stalks the area, picking off victims in the most grotesque, over-the-top ways possible. But what sets this film apart is its punk rock energy. It's Fast, ferocious, and dripping in gore from the first scene to the last. Practical effects are insane. Every kill is crafted with brutal detail, and the film doesn't shy away from pushing the boundaries of violence and dark humor. If you love old school slasher flicks, midnight movies, and the kind of horror that makes you scream and laugh at the same time, Bloody Axe Wound is one hell of a ride. Rounding out the list, we have a film that blends folk horror with psychological terror. The story follows a grieving couple who retreat to an isolated farmhouse in the English countryside, searching for peace after a devastating loss. But instead of solace, they find something ancient and malevolent lurking beneath the land. As they descend into obsession, hallucinations, and strange occurrences, the film spirals into a nightmarish fever dream of loss, guilt, and horror. If you love slow burn horror in the style of The Witch or Midsommar, this one is definitely for you. The cinematography is stunning, and the storytelling is deeply unsettling. This film doesn't just scare you, it gets inside your head. This is folk horror at its finest, bleak, atmospheric, and guaranteed to leave you uneasy long after the credits roll. And if that lineup wasn't enough, March is stacked with even more horror goodness on Shudder. So mark your calendars for March 7th because The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs is back. Horror fans, you know what that means. Killer films, deep dives, and Joe Bob's legendary commentary. And if you love Evil Dead, Shudder this month has 3 absolute bangers in the lineup. We've got Army of Darkness, Evil Dead, The Evil Dead, plus some legendary silent horror classics are making an appearance. We've got Nosferatu, 1922, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, and The Phantom of the Opera from 1925. Shudder also has some amazing collections this month. We've got Bloodthirsty, obviously I mentioned Nosferatu, so vampires galore, inanimate killers, because sometimes the scariest things aren't alive. Irish horror, of course, for St. Patrick's Day chills. Comedy of terrors, horror that makes you laugh before it makes you scream. A Woman's Touch, highlighting incredible female-driven horror films. And that wraps up my top 5 Shudder picks for March. From folk horror to creature features to brutal slashers, this month is delivering some seriously killer content. Which of these films are you adding to your watch list? Please let me know in the comments. I would definitely love to hear what it is that you're watching if it's not on my list. What do you have on your list for this month? And if you had fun today, don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss out on the latest horror recommendations. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Cafe Crashdown for even more spooky shenanigans. So definitely check them out if you want to send me a message or something. I don't know. Until next time, stay spooky, stay sinister, and as always, keep the horror alive. See you soon, my ghouls and gals. Take care.